Hi, BCMS is a content management system that allows you to structure your content, populate it with your team, and consume that content via API in your code bases. So let me do a quick walkthrough. Everything in BCMS is centered around templates. Templates are a content structure for a certain kind of content you might have. So, for example, a blog or a product or a category or a team member and so on. So let me quickly create a template called blog. I can give it a description, it's just for the interface, and I can check whether it's a single entry or not. In this case, it's not going to be a single entry, but in cases like homepage, contact page, it might be a single entry. So here, by default, we get title and slug for every blog. And what we want to do is bring some other inputs to the blog. But first, let's go to the blog here and let's try creating first entry. So by default, we only have title as slug, as we saw in the template structure. We can give it a status and change the language. In this case, we only have English. So let's go back to templates and improve our blog template structure. So for example, other than title and slug, we might want to have some description. So we can use a simple string. Okay, and I can say whether it's required or not and whether it's an array or not. In our case, it might be required because we want to use that description for SEO purposes as well. So for like meta description in our blog page. I might also want to use rich text, which will allow me to have bold, italic, and other formatting within that input. But in this case, I want to allow content editors and other team members to only have plain content because I want to style it differently in on the page and also use it in meta tags, so I don't need to strip any formatting. Then we might want to have date, for example, like a date published. Or yeah, date published is fine, and I can say it's required. So date published, for every entry that you get from BCMS, you will see in the API response when that entry is created and when that entry is last updated. But in this case, I want to have like an SEO date updated or date published, so that I only show a date that I want to show on the page. Maybe we want to have like a boolean or not for like a featured blog. And yeah, let's go with media for cover image. Again, required. And what else? I think that's enough for now. And let's go back to our blog, create it, and now we see title slug, and also we see description, publish date, and cover image. After that, like this gray area at the top is called meta, and meta contains that predefined structure that we put in our template structure. Everything after it is called content, and there it's a free form content where you can write like titles, subtitles, paragraphs, of course, and everything that can be like regular content. So for example, hello world, then you can like in Notion, just press slash and go with H3 maybe. But you can also select it and then go with like this, or list item 3, and so on. You can see all the formatting here. You can go with links, media, inline code, unordered list, ordered list, and code block. So yeah, that's it. When I try to create entry, it does not allow me to create entry without populating everything that I mentioned is required, aside from title and slug, which are always required. So my first blog, slug is automatically generated, but you can change it. My blog's description and date published. Okay, now when I want to add media, I can upload my first file. Let me do that quickly. So, okay, and okay, done. Now when I create it, here it is. We successfully created our first blog. Here in the documentation tab, you can see how you can get that blog from inside your Next, Astro, other frameworks as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's cover now the groups. What about having, like, if we want in our blog to have certain kind of input, there is actually a group of inputs. For example, FAQ. Like, we want to have predefined FAQ section at the top or wherever in our blog. So for that, FAQ is practically question and answer, right? So let's create a group, call it FAQ, and it has a question, which is a string, and maybe this time we want rich text for an answer. Okay, cool. So FAQ, it's practically FAQ item, right? Because it only has like one set of question answer. But now we can go to our blog, use a group pointer and say, call it FAQ, and say it's an array. I won't say it's required, and pick FAQ, which is group FAQ. Okay, now when I go to blog, I can add FAQ. When I add it, I get a set of question, answer. If I add another one, I get question, answer, and so on. What I did not do here, and I should probably have done it, is put question and answer, make question and answer required fields. So FAQ on its own is not required, but when I have an item, it must have both question and answer for the validation purposes, right? So now I can save this with empty items, which does make much sense. So let's quickly update that just for the sake of OCD. Okay, now when I go to blog, those fields are required, and I cannot say save this without populating my question, my answer, which is now rich text and can be formatted while description is pure string. Okay, so we changed, we used groups. Groups can also contain other groups, so you can really get creative and create really good structures that follow your design, your use case. How about widgets? So widgets are things that go inside the content and can be placed anywhere in the content. So it's again pretty similar to templates and groups, but they are predefined structure that can be placed wherever you want inside the content. For example, like a testimonial slider or gallery in the middle of your blog. We can also do like FAQ maybe, why not, while we have it, to show the power of also reusability. So maybe we can actually go with widgets and create like a FAQ. FAQ is enough, of course. Okay, So for FAQ widget, I wanted to have like a title, some description, and then again, list of questions and answers. So for the title, let's go with a regular string. Let's make it optional maybe, why not? Then a string for the description, again optional. And now again I want to have a group pointer for the items, let's say. Okay, and it's required, it's an array of FAQ items in the group. So now in my blog, if I want my somewhere between my paragraph and h2 to have widget with FAQ items, I can go press enter, slash, and after everything there is a widget section which contains FAQ widget. FAQ widget has title, description, and items. So good to know. Here are some questions answered. Okay, and if I want to save it, it says items are required here, and yeah, we can okay, and of course you can add more, you can reorder them, and so on. You can press plus to add item below or above, because it can get pretty long, and these lines or guidelines can help you also understand where you are in these nested items. Okay, update. So we have a widget. Of course, you can also reorder the items here and so on. But yeah, that's how widgets work. Widgets, as you can see, also can point to other groups. Widgets cannot point to other widgets, but can point to other groups. And the last thing that we did not mention is pointers, entry pointers actually. So entry pointer, like a group pointer, allows you to point to something else, in this case entry. Right now we only have blog, so our blog could point to other blogs. For example, if we want to have a section like a recommended blog or recommended blogs, or like read next. After like blog, you have read next, and you want to be able to like specify what to read next. We can use other blogs or point to other blogs, but let's use something more straightforward or something more usual, like category. We want to have blogs and we want to have blog categories. For that, we would actually create another template called category. Okay, and now we can populate those categories with like we can create those categories like entries. I don't need anything other than title and slug, I think, for this. So this might be enough. And I can say like decor and art and travel. Okay, so now I have my 3 categories, and in my templates blog, I can say like category. I can create a category entry pointer. So I'll put it at the top and say code category. I say it's required, whether it's an array or not, like whether a blog can have multiple categories, why not? And select category for the template. We can also use like multiple templates to point to, but in our case, category is just enough. So if I go to blog and want to pick category, I now see these 3 items. So let's say it's an art and travel category. Why not? Okay, cool. So we covered entry pointers as well. Is there anything else So Boolean is for featured or not. Enumeration, we could also use enumeration for categories as well. So I could say like, I'll call it categories. You cannot name properties the same way twice, and say like art, travel, something else. Okay, and this is going to render here as a list, pretty similar to previous one. But what's different is that with templates, you can actually scale this much easier, I'd say, because in category, you can at some point maybe add more properties here. For example, like a description, some author or something else. And then once you decide maybe to have like a category page on your website, you can really improve experience of that category page, because that category contains a lot of additional information, while enumeration is just like a list of options. You could use that to some extent, but I think like it's not the best use case for every situation. Media we covered, group and entry pointer, everything we covered. Cool. So this is templates, groups and widgets. Media manager we just briefly touched. You can upload files, any kind of file, and you can create folders like blog, and inside blog you can create another folder and upload files within those folders, so structure everything properly. Settings are for general settings like the name of the instance, inviting members, API keys to be able to fetch that content from your code base, MCP to communicate with, like to allow your agents to communicate with BCMS and create content through those agents. Functions are functions that can be called outside of BCMS, so your code base could fetch or actually ping that function. Webhooks as well. Webhooks are actually being triggered from BCMS to your code base or to other third-party services. Dependencies, those are the NPM packages that functions can use, and as well as environment variables. You just specify them here globally. Yeah, and trash is where our content goes after we delete it. So yeah, that's pretty much it.